So welcome to hashtag 52 Needs. And this week we are talking about the need to be seen for who you are. And I am so privileged to have with me my good friend, Scott Carson. And I'm going to read out to you who he is because he's amazing. So Scott, and I love this, is a man who's just trying to be the best version of himself. And we'll have a chat about trying at some point because he is the best version of himself all the time. Scott is one of the hosts of the Campfire Project, and we have lots of fun there. He's a mentor and co-founder of the Business of Smiles, who helps create a safe place for people to dive into their own life and take on discussions that need to be had. Scott is a storyteller who, through his lived life experiences, shares his love for people, experiences, and the opportunities we can create. Through tough conversations are his specialty, as his biggest growth comes from our hardest times. His mission is to create as many smiles and conversations as possible, which he does with his socks. Is this the point where you lift your leg and show us what socks you're wearing?
If you don't mind.
Yes.
Socks.
So can you explain to us what that is?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for that introduction. That's very sweet. So those socks are really important to me because those black dots, and I'm trying to lift my leg up higher. There we go. Black dots, they represent our dark days. We all have them, yeah? No one's getting out of that. And the yellow, that represents that warm winter sun. You know that warmth you can feel on your back?
Yeah.
That humidity getting around you on your dark days.
Yeah.
Because your dark days are generally between your ears. So let's talk about them because life is an interesting journey. And if we can have the tough conversations we need to have, then we can continue to work on ourselves to become the best version of ourselves and crack some big smiles along the way.
Yeah.
Because there is more sunshine than dark days.
So that's where both of you are the same, because I've got a program where I talk about sunshine and fog. And sunshine for me is all the emotions that we have. They're not necessarily the so-called good ones. You can have anger and still be in sunshine. But when you get sucked into the fog is when you don't let go of the anger. And it's like you've got the dark days, but then the sunshine comes back in again, right? Absolutely. It's always surrounded by sunshine, and fog is dissipated by sunshine as well. So yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, right? Because you can work your way out of your dark days.
Absolutely.
And that's the key to it, because sometimes it does take a little bit of effort to make it happen. But if you do one little tiny thing today that makes today better, it'll make tomorrow a little bit better. If you do one little thing again tomorrow, and next day, 1%ers, there's one tour after. I think for myself, people take on too much these days. And I think we should be taking on little things at a time, little chunks.
Yeah. And if we're talking about the need to be seen for who you are in everyday life, like we've just had a situation. I mean, we just connected and I just had a meltdown because I have had technical issues like I have never had in my life. And I just reached limit because I was going in circles, and I had been going in circles for 45 minutes. They kept taking me back to the same place before, and nothing I was doing worked. And I was sobbing by the time you logged on. And then what happened is you just listened to me and you just went, that sucks. And then I let it go, and now we're here. But it's instead of going, I'm fine, and we would have a really awkward conversation because I would probably still be sitting and going, oh God, I can't believe this. You just allowed me, or not, you didn't allow me, but you gave me the space to be who I am and just saying, you know what, this sucks. And I had a few very explicit swear words coming off my lips because I was just like Facebook, Dropbox, Google, LastPass. I'm not going to do the gesture, but you can imagine. It was just, and it's good to know that that's not who I am normally. So it's not the fixing and going, oh, it's not that bad, Angela, and come on, oh, that's very unlike you, and oh man, oh, come on, snap out of it or anything. You just listened and nodded and eventually said, that sucks.
Yeah, because it does.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay for it to suck. It's okay for things to not go right. It's about being seen for who you are at that moment, just sitting with that person. Zero judgment. Because we all have those moments. We all have those just frustrating things just go on. And if we can sit and just let them be, we actually get to move through them. If we don't, as you said, we hold on to them. They sit in the back of our head. And it's those thoughts. The most valuable real estate we have is between our ears. If we don't own it, something or someone else does. And that's a tough place.
And sometimes it's just really important to say, you know what, I can't hold this between my ears anymore. I just need to get it out. And then having people, and I call them sunshine people, you know, have a sunshine person who just sits and listens and says, you are what you are. And I don't need to fix you. I don't need to change you. I don't need to, you know, and again, that's the flip side of it. Then there are people who are basically bullies who just say, you're not okay the way you are, and you need to change in order for me to feel good about myself. And that's not okay either.
Look, that's more representing themselves. You know, they're putting their values onto a situation and not taking the time to understand and accept yours. You know, I think that one of the greatest gifts in life that I've been able to learn is, and everything's learned in my eyes, is just to accept people exactly for what they are, as they are. Because I know people are genuinely doing their best, you know, and I've had some pretty interesting opportunities in my life and worked with some amazing people that just, you know, the struggles of life own them until they find a safe place to be able to open them up, you know. And that's like, I've never met anybody that hasn't added value to my life, ever. I've been on the street since I was 14. I've worked with some very dark people that have had times that have really struggled, you know, and they've added value to my life. Because it's just a moment in time that they're having to deal with things. And if we don't create that safety, we don't get the gold.
Yeah. And it is the ability to, I mean, there's another need that's called authenticity. And I think authenticity is very different from to be seen for who you are, because authenticity is just saying, I am honest, I am authentic about who I am. But to be seen for who I am, it doesn't mean that starts with other people. It starts with me as well. And at the same time, it is the ability to show up. It goes way beyond authenticity. Authenticity is the way I talk, what I talk about, how much I talk about, but being seen for who I am, that goes, I mean, I know that in high school, I was the odd one out. I did not fit in. I was the youngest in my whole grade because I had started school early. You know, I didn't fit into a certain dress code. I would wear my father's waistcoats, his bow ties and his ties and his shirts. And, you know, and one day and the next day I would wear a flowery dress. And, you know, and then and people just went, we can't figure out who you are. And I'm like, I am what I am. Popeye the Sailor Man, right? But I'm not going to dress a certain way just to please you.
Hey, I get it, right? Because the hardest person to own is you. You have to own you. You know, like, I'm so grateful to have so many conversations from just these beautiful conversations about what does it mean to be gay. And I personally, I hate that. It's not like, because it puts people into a, oh, I'm gay and I'm stressed, and it's like, am I okay? Am I not okay? When people come out and they come out and announce that they're gay, okay, thank you so much for just being you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the hardest thing in the world to be, is just to be you. Like at the moment, like the Campfire Project, love it. And Angela, you know my son quite well. No, he's an out there kid, you know, like unfortunately, he's got me as his father. So we talk about anything and everything. We chase rainbows. We love unicorns, you know. Yeah. And at school, he made this beautiful little carousel with unicorns on it, and it's just stunning. We loved it, right? And I got a bit of grief. Are you transgender? You know, where are you at? And he was really taken back by that. And he goes, I don't know how to deal with this, Dad. I said, oh, let's process this a bit, because it's really important. I said, what was it that will give me grief about? He's, the fact that I like unicorns and rainbows. I said, I said, do you know anyone else that loves unicorns and rainbows? He goes, yeah. He goes, you. I said, am I a good man? He goes, yeah, Dad, you love sharing smiles. Do you want to be me or do you want to be them? What do you prefer? What do you prefer in your life? Because I love what we do, Dad. High five, big man. Just be you. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, do you want to be, when you say, do you want to be me? It's like, well, do you want me to, I would say, I mean, that's me, the coach kicking in. Do you want me as a role model to be who you really are? Not do you want to be me? Yeah. Because, again, Oscar is his own unique self. I mean, he's not like you in many ways.
100%.
Sorry, I'm just going, because this is the thing, is people go, to be seen for who you are does not mean that you follow in the footsteps of somebody else and you emulate them to the degree that you become them, because that's not being seen for who you are. That means you're pretzeling yourself into being somebody else.
Yeah, I understand that. And I appreciate going into coach mode there, but it's like at the moment he's looking for an opportunity to find out where he belongs. Yeah,
absolutely. Right? I hear you.
So I am his greatest role model at this point in my life. And I take that very seriously.
Yeah.
And I to the point where I don't drink, I run, I get fit. I've negotiated my life so that I pick him up every day from school. Mm-hmm. I've negotiated that because that's the most important thing I can do right now. Mm. And my whole goal is for him to be able to be the best version of himself.
Yes.
And create the circles like he's a part of the Campfire Project. Mm-hmm. Like he's actively involved. He'll speak to you comfortably, and we've had some beautiful conversations. And Alan, and that's helping him be the best version of him. Mm-hmm. I don't coach Oscar in anything. Mm. I make sure he has coaches outside of me because I can't teach him everything. Yeah. I can only be the best version of me so that he can work on being the best version of himself. And that's why I adore having you in my life, because you mentor Oscar. Alan mentors Oscar. All these amazing people are there to support one another, because that's the whole point of, for me, for life, this journey we're all on. Have different people in your life, have different experiences, create you.
Yeah. And again, surround yourself with people who don't want to turn you into a version of themselves, or who have judgments about who you should be, because, I mean, I'm sure there are other people out there, but I've had parents who always had a very specific idea about who I should be. And it was never who I wanted to be. I never wanted to be, like at the age of 16, my parents said, well, you walk like a duck. We need to get you some high heels so you start walking like a lady. And I said to her, well, what is your idea of what a lady is? Tell me what that means. And they went and just listen. And I went, yeah, no, I'm never going to be a lady. So you might as well abandon that. That's really not me. I don't wear high heels. I never have. I never will. I have a couple that I wear, for special events. And I always make sure I have the flat shoes with me because, I'm good for 2 hours and then I go, nah. And I don't care. Just if somebody needs to look at me and say, well, she's not wearing high heels and that's their judgment on me. Well, you know what? That's okay. But we judge each other on so many things. I'm just using this as a very trite example of, we can judge each other on the smallest things. And it really disconnects us from that person. Their hairstyle is really weird. Or, like whatever it might be. Whereas I go, I saw a woman the other day walking down the street and half of her hair was black and half of her hair is white, and I just went, cool. And I just went, I hope she's doing it because she wants to do it, not because she's following some trend or, wants to look like Cruella de Vil or, whatever. But when somebody, initially my first response was, yes, excellent.
And I'm with you, right? Because for me, it's about, I'd be curious. Hey, love your hair, but just curious. Why did you decide to do that? That's an awesome thing. Because then you'll get an understanding of the context of what it's about. So then you'll get a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Once you're in the curiosity, you become endeared to that person. And you start to understand that person. Yeah. And that's the thing we miss these days. We're no longer curious. We label, and labels are okay because we need to identify what works with other things. Like we need to understand. So like if we had red wine, how would you know which meal you'd put it with?
Which what? Sorry?
Which meal would you put it with? If all red wine was just labeled red wine, you wouldn't know what goes with what. So we actually need the labels to identify so we can make make things work together. So we can go, okay, this goes with this, goes with this. But it doesn't define what it is. It's just an identification as to how things can work.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm really scared at the moment about people really pushing back hard on labels, because it's not necessarily a thing of I don't want to be identified. It's more of a fact that I don't want to be seen. I don't want to have to be me, you know, and that's, for me, is something that is the most important thing we can continually work on, and it consistently evolves. Like, that's the thing I love about being human. We evolve depending on who we see, what we do, how we do it, what we're involved with. You know, we change circumstances, change scenarios. I encourage everyone to go do something different. Like, whatever you do in your life, pick something completely different, go and try it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, try again, make sure you don't like it. Because that's
absolutely.
You start, right? Consistently. And it's, you know, like, if my little journey in life, you know, I've been a magnitude of different things. You know, I've worked as a childcare worker. I was a pool plumber. I've been a steel fixer. I was a bricklier's labourer. I'm a host of the Campfire Project. I do talking. I'm a mentor, I'm a coach. You know, I'm a public speaker. I create smiles. Yeah. It's all me.
Yeah.
And when you hear this, you smile, because there's a lot of different things. So get curious.
Yeah.
Come and learn.
It's the labels, you know, and they stop us. And when we talk about being seen for who we are, I mean, if you gave me, you know, I was a, you know, like a pool, I did this, these are the jobs. I mean, like the same thing as I go, you know, I've done this. You know, I've done, there are all sorts of things that I've done in my life. And I know that my family came to a point and going, oh, she's changing careers and countries again. And I'm like, yeah. So I've lived in 9 different countries. I've worked in 16. I've had numerous careers. You know, I've done all sorts of stuff where the people around me went, oh, you're kidding. But the people that stuck around, those were the friends who looked beyond the labels, and they really saw me for who I am. They don't go, oh, it's Angela, the, you know, producer of a program about sexuality, you know, TV program, which we put out at one point. And I mean, my father was embarrassed to take me to his club because people were going, oh, she does all of these smutty things. No, we didn't. We put some educational stuff on TV that had never been on TV before. We got nominated for the equivalent of the Logies, but people had judgments about us like you would not believe. And that was a really good lesson in who cares? The people who really know me know the intention that was behind that and the wonderful work we were doing, the same as when I was doing all sorts of other stuff. And we was like, what are you doing? And my friends all went, yes, another facet, another something that expresses who you are. Go explore, you know, those are the friends I want to hang out with. They're not the ones who go, oh, you're kidding me, something else. They go, oh, wow, something else. Great.
But that's the beauty of life, Angela. That's why you can wear the smile you do. Because you try to do things.
I don't try. I just do it. I just go Nike. Just do it. And if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work.
Like, if you look back and when you go through your life and you look at the things that you've done, and at the time they seem crazy, but they've turned out to be the best memories. Like, it's fascinating how, you know, when you catch up with old friends, you talk about the crazy stuff you've done, how much it makes you smile. And at the time, probably wasn't that good. But in reality, they're the memories that really make and define your life. Yeah. You know? So having a go at things is just so important. But being curious, like, I love it. And I mean, I'm not sure of how much time we've got, but what's one of your jobs that you did that people don't generally know about?
Oh, I taught German at the Conservatorium of Music because the teacher got sick, and my ex-husband at the time was a student there. He was studying opera. And so they asked me, because I'm German, they asked me if I could teach it. Well, I'd never taught. I used to teach English in Taiwan, but I had never taught German before. And it's actually quite a different thing to teach your own native language when you've never really learned it as such. So I did all sorts of stuff. I moved the class out of a room with no lights into the cafeteria. I threw out the textbook. you know, because I mean, why would you as an opera singer need to learn how to buy stamps? You know, so I stuck labels on their backs with emotions and said, go around, identify what you've got, act it out for people, you know, like, because as an opera singer, you need to sing about emotions. So I threw out the whole syllabus. We did all sorts of stuff. People came out, they didn't necessarily know what they were singing perfectly grammatically correct, as in they couldn't speak German, but they could sing with emotion. They knew how to connect with the songs. That was fun. I loved doing that. So that was just one of them. Or organizing an opera on the beach. They contacted us, and 5 days before the event was supposed to happen, and turned out that nothing had been organized. So we organized an event in 5 days, including rehearsals, finding singers, rehearsals, orchestra, set up for an audience of 20,000 people. And it worked well. We didn't sleep for 5 days. But it was brilliant, you know. So and it was we were sitting there. We got one dress rehearsal. It was like, oh my God, this could go so belly up. We were so stressed, and it worked on really, really well until the mayor couldn't stop talking, and he went overboard 15 minutes. Oh look, I mean, we can talk. I can tell you all about what happened afterwards and how I was running back and forth, and it was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But we got it done, and it was brilliant. And, you know, and those are the things when I look back, I go, what was I thinking? Going, sure, we can organize an event within 5 days for 20,000 people. No problem.
But that's the whole point. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So what about you? Give us one of your events, because.
Ah, geez. I'm going to try. Now, I'll never forget the first time I did a dinner and hosted a dinner for the Business of Smiles, which I'm in, and co-founder with James Short. Was previously Sunday sessions. Now, I'd spent probably 2 months getting this dinner organised, setting up all the material, and I had, there's another version of these that are a very special gift. They're actually the reverse. And I give them to people who do amazing things within the community, and also a special part of me to say thank you. And on this night, I had all of my presentation based around thanking the people within this community. So I had all these T-shirts, everything was ordered, everything was done. So roughly an hour and a half of material. They didn't turn up. And I'm like, wow. And this is the day before do I cancel, because that's my whole night. It's everything. But you know what? I'm just going to go and talk about what's just happened and how it happened. And we talked about before about authenticity. I just shared the story of what happened. And I said, things in life don't work.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we're still here, we're still put together, and we're still talking about things. And I flipped it around, and I just came up with a little thing where we sat down. I said, well, you've got everybody a piece of paper, write down something that's going really well in your life.
Yeah.
Write down something you've been through before that was really difficult. Then I got everybody to stand up, swap tables, and share.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most beautiful nights. I had people come up to me, I can't believe how awesome that was. And I'm like, here's the thing. In my head's telling me to stop. My head's telling me, don't do it, don't do it. I did it, and it was remarkable. You know, and it's those things, Angela, it's those things that are doing it. Like, and it's just about continually putting in effort. Life's hard. No one's getting out of that. It's tough. Yeah. You know, and the reward for actually going through with things and doing things is huge. And it's this right now, that smile you had for the opera you did in 5 days for 25,000 people, for the dinner I put together I had no materials, and we just made it happen. Yeah. It's those things that make us smile, especially when we get into a tough position and we turn around and go, I've got a cookie in the jar. I've got something in the memory bank. I've got through that. Maybe I can get through this.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, just to wrap it up, I mean, the important thing about to be seen for who we are means that we start with ourselves.
100%.
It's not the looking into the mirror, looking at other people or using other people as a mirror, rather, to go, look at me. It's the I'm doing, and whatever comes back is great.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's from such people,
you can't find you in somebody else.
No.
You know, and that's a real statement. And once I learned and understood that, the Man in the Mirror song by Michael Jackson has a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
You know, and the hardest person to look at is yourself. But
that is also the most rewarding.
Yeah, but you're the most beautiful. You are. It is. It's the most beautiful gift you'll give to somebody else. It's you. Authentically you.
Yeah. So again, looking at yourself, owning yourself, seeing yourself for who you are, and seeing other people for who they are. Yeah. Good one. And we're in the perfect place. Thank you so much, Scott.
Oh, no mistake. Love it. And thank you, Angela, because, you know, I'm learning how to deal with my emotions even more so because I'm in your community with you and amongst people that are focusing on making a difference. So thank you for your heart and energy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, I'll see you very soon in the campfire. In the meantime, everybody else, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.
Take care.